that's a glorious looking thing, isn't it? Love the way these meaty things look. So, I ordered the wheels and I got some tires put on. I went with these Riddler 650s. It's a staggered set. The fronts I haven't had mounted and balanced yet. I have the tires and rims already though. But the rears are 18 by 9.5. And the fronts are 18 by 8. Let's see, I don't remember the tire size, so here we go. I went with a 275 35 R18. So I brought these back here so I could get a rough idea of the look and to get my measurement for my rear end that I'll be cutting down. So after thinking it over in my head and eyeballing the thoughts, back to considering doing the rear end work myself. And it's a two-part. One, if I can do it for the same price it would cost me for him to do it, or less, hopefully, then I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to order the jig set up. I've got a friend of mine that works in a machine shop that can hopefully get me the long tube that'll pass through and do the alignment. And the main part I was worried about was jigging it up for the tube alignment. I think I can square up or get the angles right on all the brackets. And the guy that was going to do them was only going to tack them up for me anyways. He was going to cut the axles down to the lengths I needed, tack it all, give it back to me to finish welding. So I think I'm going to end up going with this one here just because this appears to be a whole lot more beefy than the other one. I've got to fix this spot where somebody ghetto welded before, it appears. But I'll chop these brackets off, cut the ends off, order new tube ends, sand it all down nice, and get it ready to weld. I took my measurement between the two wheel faces, and I've got 55 inches wheel to wheel. The wheels have a 0 offset with a 5.25 or 5.25 backspace. Right now I've got about a 2.5 inch tired quarter lip, this right here. So these aren't rolled yet. I'm really considering, there's no way I'll be able to roll them all the way up, I don't think. At least not all the way around. I might be able to roll like just the top. But I'm pretty sure I'll have to do relief cuts to be able to fold it all the way up, which I might do while I'm in the middle of this body phase, and at least roll it back to somewhere in here. I'll do a final relief cut like here maybe the middle somewhere, and then again up here, and then I'll fold these in a little bit. I can't do too much. Not gonna do too much here on the front, on the facings. I'm not gonna do too much here. But if I can roll this upper area in, then I'm gonna do that. That way I can bring that wheel out as far, so I don't have that super recessed look. I want my tire to be, out close to that lip face. But anyways, so it's 55 inch flange to flange. Now granted, you can obviously, or not flange to flange, but the total overall length with brakes and all mounted, it would need to be 55 inches. So you obviously can't do flange to flange 55 inches. So I've been researching this. I've got to get on Willwood's site and look at their brake offsets. And then I've got to look at the axle offsets. So your flange is back here. And obviously your axle comes out a ways because you've got to be able to have your brake offset. Now I'm not going drums, I'm going disc, but they still have an offset for your caliper to mount, so on. And your axle still hangs out some. So I want to say Ford 9s have maybe 2.25 inch per side. I was gonna go 2.5 per side to give me some play. I don't remember what the brake offset is. Like I said, I'll have to get on Wheelwood's site and look at that, but you have to calculate in. So I'll start with 55, I have to subtract the brake offset, I have to subtract the thickness of the brake rotor itself, or the hat, because mine are gonna be floated brakes. I'm going with Wheelwood Super Lights. It'll be 6 piston front and 4 piston rears. So they use the floating rotor. What I plan to do is go as far inward as I can, and then if I need to kick the wheels out a little bit on these to get the right appearance I want, I'll probably use the thin spacers. If I need to, I can get my buddy that's the machinist to probably make me up some hub bore matched spacers that I can use, hub concentric, I believe, or hub centric, whatever, however you say it. But they won't be done cheaply, is what I'm saying. I'm not going to use the big bolt-on super thick spacers, which I actually have some of those that I used before that are in here. I think I've got a set of, yeah, here's some. So I've got, I think that's the set of 4 by 4.5. This is a set of 5 by 4.5 that I thought I was gonna have to use for the fronts when I went to disc brake before to mount the wheels I used to have. So if anybody needs spacers, 5 by 4.5, I think these are by an inch, and these are like 2 inch. But I have spacers I need to get rid of. But so, like I said, I want to do that, but it's not so much of I want to save money, because it's not going to save me money. In fact, he was going to offer a trade. I don't know how much he was going to take trade on labor for me to trade off 2 of these 9s I've got, but a big part of it's I've done all of this car so far myself with the help of some friends, family, and so on. A big part of this is I want to be able to say that I built this. It's a big part of it. I mean, that's a big important thing for me, is to just know that I built this car ground up. I mean, some of the things I'm gonna have to have done. The alignment I'm probably not gonna do myself. I mean, that's nitpicky things. The glass I'm not gonna install myself. I'm gonna take it to a glass place or have someone come here and install the front and rear glass. Past that, I think I'm doing everything. I mean, I built the motor minus the machine work. I mean, granted, the tires, I can mount and balance those damn things, but come on. But everything else, I plan to do it. I plan on doing the body work. I plan on painting this thing myself. I want, down the road, if asked, to know that I can put my name on this, that I did this car. If someone finds something that they don't like on it, or that they think it was shitty work, I can be like, I know, I screwed up. That was me. I can't blame anyone else. I get a compliment on it. I mean, that's complimenting my work. So I don't know if there's others that feel the same way or like me, but that's where I'm at on it. But on top of that, if I do get the jig stuff, I don't think he'll offer me much for these rear ends anyways. He doesn't want the axles, the diffs, anything, the carriers. He was only wanting to buy the housings, and he's probably going to chop the tubes off, maybe even. I know he's cutting the ends off and replacing the ends, but if I have that jig, I could cut these down to whatever size and sell these off myself for a whole lot more. If I have the jig, I have the ability to do that. I can weld. I mean, I can sell off 2 of these 9s for premiums at that point. These axles probably can't be used again unless somebody can respline them, but especially if I have to cut them down, they're definitely not going to be able to be used again. But like I said, this back axle is good to go in a Mustang or Cougar. That'll fit up no problem. So I already made this video a good length, but I wanted to talk one other thing. I think the last video I left off, I'd not done these. My buddy Rudder that follows me on YouTube, he actually commented on it about a day or 2 after I'd done this and said that this is actually seam sealed normally. The car when I got it, I'm pretty sure was Bondoed here. I remember this being flat, and I remember taking Bondo out of this because I had to repair a patch down here where it was already ghettoed up. They had fiberglass that are shittily welded in a patch, and it rusted through. So I went ahead and bonded this. I don't think it's gonna matter. It's gonna be seamed up, or I mean, it's sealed up. It's gonna have epoxy over it, sealer, etc. But I did that work. I also brushed on, or not brushed on, but coated these corner pieces. That's Everglass. So coated those gaps, started them, coated both sides of this. Also did the rockers. These are pretty much blocked out. I mean, they're blocked out to 80. They need to be taken down some more with a finer grit, but the rockers are pretty much there. These panels still need work, of course. Plenty of it. But one thing I wanted to talk was Eastwood's Rust Encapsulator Platinum. You can see that is scraped off and with not much pressure. So I scuffed it with, come around here. I don't remember what it's rated at, but it's like Scotch-Brite's industrial heavy duty, this steel. And it's pretty used up, but I want to say this thing equates to like 60 grit or something, or maybe rougher. It's at least 80 grit equivalent. Now that sucker scuffs. I mean, it takes it down. It'll turn this gloss finish into a matte mess in no time, and if you push down decent enough or rub it enough, it'll take the paint right on off, no problem. So I know it scuffs, and I've done epoxy over epoxy with great adhesion with that. So I know it scuffs good. This, I can almost take off with my fingernail, I think. Probably could, but I'd rather not, well, already did, but rather not get epoxy shoved under my fingernails. But you can see there, I just kind of shoved it in there a little bit. That's down to bare metal there because I hit it with Scotch-Brite on the DA. But I brushed Rust Encap Platinum, this whole door jamb, the top of this whole rocker, and all of this. Now I want to say I followed all the way up in this. I'm really hoping I don't have to redo this shit. But what I wanted to show you is that I'm not sure that it's a scuffing thing. They say you can spray, or you can spray or brush their platinum on. You can recoat within 48 hours without having to scuff. After that, they tell you to scuff with 320 grit. Now 320 seems pretty damn fine, and maybe that's the reason for them saying 320 is because it requires that many damn scratches for it to stick. Now, this is the epoxy coming off in flakes. I want to show you if I can pick this up without breaking the pieces. See that shine? Camera doesn't pick it up all that great, but that's silver. The epoxy doesn't have a problem sticking to it, which was my original thought, was that the epoxy just came off. I don't know if it's all epoxy, but I think this SPI that I spray is having a solvent issue that makes this stuff like powder off, or gives it an adhesion problem. Now some of this was scraped off, some of it I did a tape test and pulled off with duct tape. I mean, it's not sticking worth a shit. Now I coated all the inside of this and I haven't painted it yet, thank God. I don't plan on epoxying all this. I was gonna coat it all with Zero Rust or Rust Encapsulator. However, the same thing on this side. All of this was coated, the top of this, door jamb was coated. I now have to wire wheel that or sand it or whatever and take that all back off, because I don't trust this shit not to come off again. The last thing I want is after I get this car together, this shit start flaking off to silver. I'm not worried about it rusting or it coming through, because this platinum stuff seems to be pretty tough. But I don't know about top coating it anymore. I'm kind of sketched that. So I plan on doing a test sheet. I'm gonna take some little sheet metal. I'm gonna scuff it with 320. I'm gonna brush this on. After it sits for 2 days, I'm gonna scuff it with 320. And whenever I come back to spray all this with epoxy, I'll spray that test panel too. I'll let it sit for, I'm gonna give it a week for the epoxy to fully cure. I'm gonna do the duct tape test, and then I'll do scratch tests and so on. But I wanna see actually how it handles it. But this all has to go down to bare metal, and I'm coating it with epoxy. I don't trust it. I trust the epoxy to stick. And it's mainly, it's not so much, like I said, I'm not worried about this rust. I'm not worried about trusting the platinum to hold up. I'm worried about silver showing through. I want this all to be coated the same black. And later on, it's gonna get painted the actual body paint color. And again, I don't want all that shit flaking back off. But that's where I'm at. I'll be stripping this shit. Still at the wire wheeler, scuff all the dash. Apparently now I have to sand all of this silver shit with 320 grit, and pretty damn good. I'll probably go ahead and sand the roof too, even though it's scuffed, and I think there's a regular rust encapsulator on the roof, but I'm gonna scuff the shit out of it anyways. And I think that's it for today, or for now. I gotta work in the morning, so I'm not gonna stay out here long. I'm gonna go relax some and haul these wheels back up to the garage. I'm not leaving them out here. They won't go on the car for a while, so. But thanks for watching, guys. If y'all have any experience with that platinum and top coating it, or if anyone's used the epoxy with it, curious of what your experience has been, or what your experience is with top coating it with something else. I mean, maybe it would be fine if I would have used just black rust encapsulator. I do have a quart of it down here. So, well, anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Can't wait till this thing can actually bolt those wheels on. Till next time.